It's 5 o'clock. I'm going to call the Public Works meeting to order. We'll start off with the roll. Alder Menzer.
Here.
Alder Bellinger.
Here.
Alder Borse.
Here.
Alder Rust. Present. And Alder Decker is here. We have a full quorum. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Item number 4, approval of minutes from the Public Works meeting held on September 8th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Motion is made by Alder Bellinger, seconded by Alder Rust. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Those are approved. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Looks like not. Sounds like good. We'll go to number 6. Resolution number 972526 by Alderpersons Decker and Rust, authorizing the purchasing agent to issue purchase orders for the purchase of street trees for the 2026 street planning program for the city of Sheboygan. Tim, that would be you? Okay, thank you.
Sing on?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so this is just a purchase. So we've been doing this for, 3 or 4 years now, where we put a bid out in the fall ahead of the next year's spring to try to get a good, it gives us an advantage to get the species that we selected for our program from these nurseries, which, it's kind of first come, first served. So gives us first dibs, or, we're kind of beating a lot of other communities by doing it this way. So I put together a package of trees with a targeted budget of around $70,000, and the bids came back pretty good. I mean, typically it's about $100 a tree. I think we're maybe just a little slightly over that this year, but that makes sense. It's been $100 a tree for a while now. So I like the species there. I would say about two-thirds of them are native. They all should be pretty tolerant for the urban environment. So I like where they came in, and I like the nurseries that we're working with here.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Go ahead, Alder Borse. That's no, that's fine.
I just questioned 2/3 of the species are native, you said. And what is the reasoning behind not selecting all natives, or the 1/3 that are not natives? What's the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, good question. So native species are great. They're from here, they do well here. Mm-hmm. But what we're dealing with is an urban environment, between the street and the sidewalk. Just because it's native doesn't mean it's going to do good here. So to increase our variety of species that we can have on the street, it makes sense, in my opinion, and many other municipalities are doing the same thing, to plant some species that maybe are not native, but they're still very urban tolerant, and in no way are they invasive or like on the leading edge of being invasive. Nothing like that. Okay.
And one other quick question, Chair.
Sure.
In terms of costs, it's 665 trees, I think, around $70,000. And you said they've been running about $100 year over year. Is this purchase similar in size to the last few years, or is this more trees than we would normally get?
So we usually try to target about 700 trees for that price. I think some years we get a couple more than 700. Last year, I think we had slightly less, and this year I think is slightly less than last year at 665. But if you look deep down at the details, there's just some species that are more expensive than others, and I guess we have a little heavier of those. I'm not going to say more desirable, but maybe a little trickier to grow or trickier to get than some of the other ones that are just super cheap. Like we do have, like, elms are on the list, and American elm, which is a great tree in my opinion, and highly Dutch elm disease resistant. But that tree is probably the cheapest. It's like $68 a tree. Mm-hmm. So it really varies. I think our most expensive is $150 per tree, and the least is $68. So it's a range, and I think we're just a little bit heavier on the more expensive ones this year. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that answers your question.
It does, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Alder Menzer.
Thank you, Chair. These trees, you keep saying urban tolerant. I'm assuming those characteristics are they are hardy. They don't, grow too large. They don't make a huge mess in the street. Are those basically the characteristics that you're kind of referring to?
Yeah, great question. So soil conditions, like, you know, they have to be well adapted to maybe some poor soils like clay soils or hard packed soils, or salt tolerance is another big one. As far as tree size goes, I try to do 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 as far as small, medium, large, as far as their mature size gets, because we do have plenty of those spots that are 5 feet wide, and a large tree should not be planted there because it's going to wreak havoc on the sidewalk and the curb. But a smaller tree, like a Japanese tree lilac or a crabapple, could fit there just fine, and it's not going to lift the sidewalk. So they're pretty much broken down, I would say 33% each of those small, medium, large categories. And did that answer all your question? As far as like a super messy tree, fruit trees in general are not accepted. Like, sure, we plant some crab apples, or we could plant some ornamental pears or something that has a very small fruit that's not going to be a huge mess. But like a normal apple tree or a normal pear tree is something we would not plant in the street.
Right, yeah. All right, thank you.
I just want one question. You know, you've been doing this for a couple of years now. In fact, I think you had some larger amounts, I think, for a couple of years ago. I think well over 1,000, I think, or something, wasn't it? Not quite. I thought when you first put that bed in.
I think the biggest we ever did was 750 in 1 year.
Okay.
And we did have maybe some additional grant funding that year, that became part of that.
What kind of a dead loss do we, I mean, like, you know, I know you put them in that bed and things like that, and do you get much or at all, or how has that been?
Yeah, so the gravel bed, we started that at 22, I believe.
Yep.
That's been really successful. I would say this year, we lost maybe 3 trees that from the time they went in spring until now, there's 3 that we had to pull out. Okay. But if you're talking just the gravel bed, it's been really good. But as far as planting on the street and you know, surviving, we did have, I think, a tough winter last year. It took a toll on a number of trees, not just the ones we just planted last year, but going back even 3 or 4 years, it killed some of those. So we did lose probably about 150 or so trees just from last year. They were alive, and this year they're not alive. But again, that was from probably 3 or 4 years worth of planting. So I don't have in front of me like the year after year. This is how many died, but I would say in general they've been doing really good. But last winter there was a spike.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. Okay, Alder Bellinger, I guess you made a motion, so I guess we can go with that. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Also made by Bellinger, seconded by Rust. Any other comments on this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That's approved. Next meeting date is October 13th, 2025. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Bellinger, second by Rust. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I don't know why we can't have that just like a direct referral. Why are we having a meeting just for that? I almost
That's how we do it.
yeah.